Hello everyone, this is George with the Paper Panda Crafts. I am back with another video, and it's going to be a tutorial. So, we took a trip to Walmart and just to pick up some odds and ends, and while I was walking around, I found this, and it's pretty nice on its own. It's a little weekly planner with a shopping list, and it's perforated so you can pull the shopping list part off and go get your things, and it's got magnets on the back. But we're not going to just take this and slap it on our fridge. We're going to make it better. So if you want to see what I do with it, keep watching. Alright guys, so like I said, this is fine on its own, but we're going to make it better. So we are going to turn it into this. It is a refrigerator message weekly planner center. I don't know what to call it yet, but but we have our list or weekly planner here with our shopping list section here. We have our little notepad where we can leave somebody a note, little reminders, we can tear a sheet off. We have a little pocket up here to put whatever you want. You can put your coupons for your shopping list. Put whatever you want. We got a little pen holder, and then on the back we have some magnets, and it will stick to whatever you want it to stick to. That's metal. So yeah, I'm going to show you all how I made this. The materials that we're going to need, you're going to need some chipboard. I have two pieces that are 3/8 by 4.5. I have one piece that is 3.5 by 1/2 inch. I have one piece that is 4.5 by 3.5. I have a notepad that I've cut down to 3.5 by 5. I have a doubled up piece of chipboard. If you have heavyweight chipboard already, you can use that, but I've just doubled up two pieces of medium weight because I really want this to be nice and sturdy for when you're writing on it, on the fridge or wherever you have it. This is 10.5 by 10.5, and we have a liner sheet that is 10 by 10, and then we just have a couple of pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock paper, whatever you want to use. And this is from the Prairie Primrose paper pad that I picked up at Joann's a couple weeks ago. It was in one of my haul videos, and I'll have it in a card that'll pop up right now. You can watch that haul, and I'll link it down in the description box too. So let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my chipboard with tape. I'm going to use my 2-inch tape because it's faster. And I'm going to get this covered, and I'm sure you do not want to watch me do that, so I will be right back. Alright guys, I am back, and I've laid all my tape, and I've pulled all the backings off, and I had to use a little 1/4-inch piece because, 2, 2, 2, 2, and you're going to have a little bit left over. So anyway, now that we got our tape on, and I'm going to lay it down on my 12 by 12 piece, and get it as centered as you can. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer to me so you have a wide enough area to do a wrap around, and that looks good. Alright, flip it over and use my spatula to get everything nice and stuck. And I'm going to go around the edge, just because this paper is pretty thick. And I do not want it to crack on me. I don't think it will because I had pretty good luck with it last time when I was making the other one. But you just never know. and it doesn't hurt to be cautious. Alright, now that we've got a little indentation, we're just going to do a little pre-fold slowly. And this paper is actually pretty good quality, so I didn't notice any cracking, so that's a good thing. Alright, so now we're going to miter our edges, and because I'm using doubled up chipboard, I want to leave a little bit more of a gap than I normally do. Alright, and I'm going to put some tape around all 4 edges, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I have put my 1-inch tape all around on each side, and I've lifted up the backing, and now I'm going to do my fold over and do this side, and you'll know I always do opposite sides just because to me it just looks better. Alright, and I'm going to fold this little tiny corner in on each side. Just use my fingernail. You can use your bone folder, your spatula, whatever you want to use. Okay, and I'll do the same thing on this side. Fold in that little corner if you have one. And do your fold over. And then use your bone folder or whatever you're using to get everything nice and stuck. Go around your edges. Get everything nice and creased. Make it look all nice. Alright. And there we go. And now we're going to put our liner sheet on. So we are going to use our 10 by 10, and I'm going to be using the, I don't know which side I want to use. I think I'll use the darker green, just because this is a darker paper. The leaves are kind of darker. I think I'm going to use this side. Now, before I put this down, I need to put tape on here. And again, I'm going to use my 2-inch tape. I'm just going to put a couple of strips. Get my cutting ruler. How many people can say they have a cutting ruler? Alright. And I'm probably just going to put about 4 strips. Okay. And get everything all nice and smooth. Nice and stuck. There we go. So now we're going to take our glue and we're going to go around the outside. I love this paper. It's got like a texture to it. If you can, honestly, you can probably hear it. And we're just going to go around the outside, make sure and get your corners really good. And for this, because it is so big, I am going to have to stand up. And we will get it as centered as possible. Alright, so now we'll just go over and soak up any glue that happened to have seeped out. I don't really see any. That's pretty good. And we'll go around with our bone folder or spatula, whatever you have, and get everything nice and stuck. Alright, and just like that, we have our base. So now let's construct the pocket. Alright guys, so I have got my box pocket pieces covered in double-sided tape. I've lifted off the backing off of one side, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to come up just a little bit, maybe about an inch, a little bit less. Doesn't have to be any exact amount. And actually I'm going to start with one of the side pieces first. I'm going to come up, like I said, probably about an inch, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to come in about, there's no exact measurement, maybe a couple of inches, just to give myself enough room to fold everything over. And I'm going to come in with my next piece. I'm going to come in about, giving myself a little, maybe a little under 1/4 of an inch, but more than 1/8 of an inch. Not exact measurement, but you want to give yourself a little bit more room depending on the paper that you use. Because I'm using pretty thick cardstock, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. If you're using thinner paper, then you don't have to give yourself so much room. So, because I'm using thicker cardstock, I'm going to give myself some more room for everything to fold easily. So I'm going to lay this down. Okay. And get my next side piece. And do the same thing. Give myself about a little over 1/8, but a little under 1/4. Okay. Alrighty. And so now the reason I brought it up is because I want both sides to be covered. So I'm going to use my ruler as a guide and come down and come down. So now I can lift off the backing. So we've got our backing lifted off, and I'm just going to take this part that we cut and I'm just going to fold it over. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to be seen, but I just want this bottom edge to be, I don't want it to be raw chipboard. Okay. And so now we're going to take our finger blade and we are going to come up, or your X-Acto knife, whatever you're using, and go out like that. And go out like that. And I am using the Sherry method of covering this up. Alright, so now that we've got this, we're going to finish it off. Cut off our excess. And now, because this is a finished edge, I want to be careful. I don't want to cut my edge that I just folded over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off some of this because I don't want that to get in my way. And I'm just going to fold this back, kind of use my ruler to fold it up on. And I'm just going to lightly use my finger blade to just cut that off. I'm barely putting any pressure because I wanted to cut that, but I didn't want to cut the paper below. There we go. So now all I'm going to do is take some glue. Now there might be a better way to do this, but this is what I've figured out so far. So if there's a better way to do it, please let me know. Y'all know where to go. Leave me a comment. All right, so now we've got our front of our pocket, and now we're going to fold these sides slowly. Make sure we don't tear anything. This is why I wanted to give myself extra room, because like I said, this is thicker paper and I don't want anything to tear, but I also want things to be easy to fold. Okay. You can use your bone folder or spatula to really define that fold. Okay. And so now this little piece here, we are simply going to stick it on a piece of scrap just to get it covered. And let's see, I think that should be big enough. So I'm going to go right to the edge. And cut that off. Clean that edge up. All right, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this inside of here. I'm going to have that seam at the bottom on the inside so you won't see it. And you want to do a test fit, make sure everything fits properly. If it is sticking up above your edges, like that is, you're going to want to go and trim off just a little bit of this. So I'm going to trim off just a little bit, and I'm going to get it glued in there, and I'll be right back. Alright, so that way I can do other stuff and not have to sit here and hold this. I'm going to use one of these little clamps. Just put a little bit of pressure. Just to hold it in place. That way I can do the rest of the project. Alright guys, so while that pocket is drying and setting up, we are going to put a little cover on our little notepad, because we just don't want to stick it on there, you know, with half of the Pen and Gear logo sitting there. So we're going to pretty it up just a little bit. So we are going to take a piece of our scrap, and we're going to cut this down to fit our notepad, which is 3.5 inches wide, and I guess you want to cut maybe about 2.5 inches to wrap around. So get my trimmer, and we will do 3.5. by, we'll just go 2.25. Because that tape is only 2 inches, but I always give myself a little extra. Because I can be a little extra sometimes. That was dumb, sorry. Alright, so now I'm going to peel up my tape, or peel up the backing. And I'm just going to peel it just to here, because I don't want it to stick down to my cutting mat. Alright, so now we'll get this lined up as best we can. Okay. Now you can peel off the rest and fold it on over. And then we can use our finger blade to cut off any little bit of excess. And use your bone folder or spatula to get everything nice and squared off and stuck down. Okay, and there we go. Now doesn't that look so much better than just having the little black pen and gear top on there? Alright, so what I'm going to do also is, because I've cut this notepad down, I don't want this part lifting up like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue to adhere it down, because there's already some adhesive on there on, I think, each side of this, but because I cut it, that adhesive isn't there anymore on the one side. So use my napkin to clean up any kind of seepage and let that do its thing. Okay. Okay. And now for the pen holder, I'm going to use these things here. It's just a little elastic band, and it's got sticky on the back. And I could probably make a pen loop, but I'm no good at making pen loops, guys. They always end up coming out way too big, and the pen just slides right out, and it's just, no. I don't know, I can't. So I got these off of Amazon. I will link them below. You can stick them on whatever you want. If you have an existing notepad already and you want a pen loop, just stick it on there and you can have your pen handy for you. But yeah, I can't make pen loops to save my life. And I obviously cannot get this backing off to save my life. There we go. Yay, I did it. Okay. So I'm just going to take this on the back here and just put it just at the edge. There we go. Alright. Alright, so we have the pieces of our board. Now we're going to put it all together. Alright, so first of all, we are going to stick down our weekly plan, meal plan, and our shopping list pad. And there are 52 sheets in here, so there's a year's worth of meal planning shopping list things here. So it's pretty cool. So all we're going to do is glue this down. I'm gluing this down first because this will kind of gauge where I put the little pocket and notepad. I don't want to put the pocket and notepad down first because, my luck, I'll put them down and not leave myself enough room to put this. So I will put this first. And so all we're going to do is put a bunch of glue, especially up in the corners. We don't want our corners coming up. Oops. Try not to slop it all over the sides. And get glue everywhere. Alright. And now we're going to stick this down. Bring this a little bit closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Get it lined up nice and straight. And you'll have about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch all around. I've placed mine about 1/4 of an inch in, and there's about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Okay, now I'm going to use my spatula and lift all this up. That way I can make sure everything's nice and stuck. Get the glue nice and spread out. And then we will put our little notepad, and my pocket should be dry enough to handle. And we're going to kind of eyeball everything. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And you can place these wherever you'd like. If you want to place them a little bit lower, a little bit higher, offset from one another, however you want to do it. If you want to put this stuff on this side, this thing on this side, it's all up to you. Make it your own. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to put glue on these raw edges. Just a light little bead of glue. Don't want to go nuts because I don't want this glue running all over the place. Alright, so now we're going to stick this down as straight as we can. Keeping our sides in. And soak up any glue that's leaking out of the sides. You don't want seepage. Alright, so I'm using my tape as a weight to weigh that down so that way it doesn't move around and the glue gets nice and stuck. And while that is doing its thing, we're going to tape down our notepad. So, same thing, we're going to put a bunch of glue all over the back, especially the corners. So we do not want the corners coming up. Okay. And then we'll just place it where we want it. And you want to make sure wherever you place this, you leave yourself enough room to get your pen in and out. You don't want to put this right under the pocket because then you won't be able to slide your pen out. I almost made that mistake making the other one. But before the glue dried, I was like, oh no. So I could slide it over just a little bit. Alright, so now we'll lift up all our paper and we'll get the glue nice and spread out with our bone folder or whatever you're using. Alright, and we'll slide our pen, and this is just an Inkjoy pen that I I didn't find it. I bought it from Walmart while we were there. I needed to get some more pens to include with my stuff that I make that includes a pen. So I really like the way these write, and they're not very expensive, and they come in all kinds of different colors. So I'm going to put a black one with this just because this is a darker themed project, and we will just slide this pen right in here. Alright, that should be set up enough. So now we're going to put our little stickers or little decorations, and you can decorate this however you want. I'm going to be using these chipboard stickers. These are from Cartabella Paper Company. I think it's Paper Company. Cartabella Paper, Cartabella stickers or whatever. I'm going to put this on there. It says Grocery Co. Milk, Eggs, and Flour. I'm going to put that one here. And I'm going to use this one. It looks kind of like one of those, I don't know what they're called, bullnose clips, paper clips. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to put this one on there. These have no stick on them whatsoever. Like, I guess they're just really old because they're tacky, but they don't stick. Nothing. So I'm going to put some glue. Because, yeah, this thing will fall right off. So I'm going to put that there. Soak up any excess that's going to leak out. And we'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to spread that out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put it right at the edge, and that way it'll look like it's a little clip holding all the paper in place. Super cute, right? Alright. Okay, so now that that is all stuck down, we are pretty much finished with this project. All we need to do now is we're going to flip it over and we're going to put our magnets. Okay, so we've got this all flipped over, and I'm using my tape to kind of prop up this side because this side sits up higher and I don't want the magnets moving around. So for the magnets that I'm going to use are these little disc magnets, and I will link them below. I got them on Amazon, but be aware. I'm letting you know that the magnets I got, some people in the reviews say that they got magnets that were in the picture, they were nice and clean and blah blah blah, and then other people complained that they got magnets that were different and that they were super dirty. I got the dirty magnets. So before I use them, I always will take a baby wipe and clean them off. And they are dirty. So I don't know what the deal is, but they were inexpensive. And I mean, they work, you know. So yeah, I mean, but I'll link them below, but just be aware you might get some dirty magnets. So I warned y'all. Alright, so what I'm doing to adhere my magnets is first I'm going to put just a little dab of hot glue, just for an instant hold. Well, I shouldn't say first. I'm also putting a dab of hot glue for an instant hold. That way the hot glue will hold everything in place while the E6000 sets up. Because as y'all know, E6000 takes a full 24 hours to cure. So I'm just going to put a little dab of hot glue in the middle, or on the edge, I should say, sorry. And then just a little dab of, ooh, that was more than a little dab, of E6000 in the middle. So, little dab of E6000 in the middle, a little dab of hot glue on the edges, and we'll just stick it down. And like I said, that hot glue will help give an instant hold, and it'll be strong enough to hold the magnet in place while the E6000 sets up. And I'm going to put one more magnet in the middle, because this is, like I said, it's a little bit heavier of a project, and also people are going to be writing on it on the fridge. So I don't want it to like dip in the middle, which I don't think it will because it's doubled up chipboard, but I'd rather just have the extra stability there anyway. Okay, and if you want, before your E6000 dries, you can go around with a napkin and get up any seepage. Alright guys, so the hot glue has dried enough and the E6000 is drying. The hot glue is doing what it's supposed to do and holding those magnets in place enough for the E6000 to do its thing. So I can flip this back over and set it on the magnets, and that'll give it enough weight. But there you go. We have finished this, in my opinion, beautiful little message center, grocery list center, whatever you want to call it, center. But I really like the way this came out, and I don't toot my own horn often, but I love it. So I hope y'all do too. So let me get the other one. That way y'all can see both of them. There we go. So yeah, I'm in love with these things. I love the way they came out, and I hope y'all did too. And I think they just look so pretty, and they would be perfect in anybody's kitchen, up on the fridge, just a place to jot down notes, jot down your shopping list, your meal plans, put your coupons, or put whatever you want to put in these little pockets. Just perfect. So I hope y'all liked this project. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Subscribe. So anyway, I would like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for all of your kind comments. And thank you for sticking with me. So special thank you to you all. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.